about what everyone's been discussing right now, which is racism and quiet, insidious, unseen racism, and racism where we all live and work. And you guys know I'm an Egyptologist. So it means I study people of Africa, and I am not of African descent myself, except don't forget we got that genetic test with the 5%. So woohoo! Though I did not know it until a year ago. And I want to talk about racism within Egyptology. And I have talked about this in this Facebook, YouTube context before. And I have done so on my own, and I've done so with Dr. Jonathan Winterman of UCLA. And we think about these things a lot. We talk about it a lot. Jonathan comes from the Oriental Institute at the University of Chicago. That's where he was trained. I was trained at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, known as the Institute of Albright, and an ancient Near Eastern powerhouse. And just these names, the ancient Near East, the Oriental Institute, just these names smack of racism within our line of work, our academy. If you took an ancient Egyptian and put him or her into Alabama in 1954, they would have had to sit at the back of the bus. So if you're asking, were the ancient Egyptians Black? My answer is yes.
Kemet expert, Dr. Sally Ann Ashton, is here on the line, and she's going to talk to us about different stance on ancient Egypt than most Egyptologists do. And it's you guys stand by the African origins with a lot of quote unquote Afrocentric, so to speak. Have you gotten any flack for that stance you've taken?
Oh yeah, I mean absolutely. I was really quite fortunate when I left Egyptology formally in 2015 to retrain as a psychologist because my research interests had changed and I got really quite tired really of the discipline. I felt that it was kind of stuck in the past and I didn't agree with the way that it was often presented. So yeah, absolutely. I think really when I started to put materials online, which is at the Fitzwilliam Museum where I was a curator for 12 years, it was at that point where I started getting sort of people emailing me, emailing my institution, sort of even in some cases threatening me because of what I was saying that what I was doing was dangerous, that it was, and I think initially I was actually very shocked because first of all, you know, I'm not saying that I know everything, you know, no academic can. We all have areas to specialise in and we're always constantly learning. But to have people completely dismiss the fact that I was working as a professional Egyptologist at the University of Cambridge, that I had a PhD in Egyptology, simply on the basis that they knew that they were correct. And I think, you know, I understand more about that kind of behaviour now as a psychologist. And I obviously understand that there's obviously an agenda here, which is a white extremist, white nationalist agenda. And I also understand that people who troll people on the internet, there's a correlation between that kind of behaviour and personality disorders like psychopathy, tendencies towards sadism and Machiavellianism. So I understand a lot more about the kind of people that do this now that I've retrained in the field.
Dr. Ashton, so would you, as an Egyptologist, consider ancient Egypt a part of Black history?
Yeah, absolutely, I would. I don't think there's any question at all. I mean, all we have to do is look at the depictions of the ancient people, and you know, I think again we come back to this: can we or can't we use the modern racialized term of Black? And absolutely, it's okay for people to use that. To remember which way the Nile flows, it does not flow from north to south. So the natural way that people are going to be moving up the Nile is from the south heading north. And, I think just going back to this over-focus on the Mediterranean coast, that's not actually the way that the Nile flows. And given that we know there's a connection with the south, we need to be thinking very carefully about what would naturally happen, which way would people naturally go when they're actually traveling.
Right, right.